bad, y'all. I had to pull my GPS up. So I've been thinking about something. I had court today, and I noticed that the fear that surrounds a lot of folks going into um, court and being in court. The fear that sets it up to where a person uh, feels that it's normal to have somebody speak on you on your behalf. This person being named a lawyer, to where even programmed into me, um, to where um, uh, your adrenaline increases in the environment. I seen a couple of guys. One guy in particular was locked up
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Mulehauser Road.
He was locked up in the county, and the lawyer came up and said something that he didn't want him to say, and then afterward he kept telling him, like, no, that's right, you just doing it your way, and the lawyer like, nah, it's okay, this is how it goes,
turn right onto Mulehauser Road,
which is the same excuse many use to justify and explain away the issues going on within the human condition towards this day, as far as the present illness.
Continue on Mulehauser Road for 1 mile.
The present illness that is obviously that should be apparent, in my mind, going on within the human condition. And that leads me to the subject uh, uh, in the title line, as far as elaborating on those things that actually are. We have a lot of things, actually. The whole court system is the whole monetary court system. Once you study it and break it down and get down to its essence at the ground level, is extortion. I did a video earlier when I was in the courtroom uh, of trying to get some answers to why, everything is in all caps, why they won't acknowledge the fact that uh,
in a quarter mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Ohio 4 South.
Someone who knows a little bit about something comes in and repeatedly asks to be presented with the proof of jurisdiction, which is basically saying what authority do they have over your flesh and blood? Who gave them authority over your flesh and blood? Because obviously you didn't.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Ohio 4 South.
It goes deep, but obviously we were brought into this system at birth against our will. So yeah, I repeatedly asked, like, who gave this court jurisdiction over me, because I didn't. That was repeatedly ignored, and then the capital name thing that's on every paper that you get in the mail from any corporate place.
Continue on Ohio 4 South for 2 miles.
Is always capital. I'm not going to elaborate on that too much right now. Just let everyone do their own research on that. But the thing is, though, there was no answer given. A spin around answer might be, If you ask a judge that they could take power from the Supreme Court, and then they would probably try to tell you as another spin around that the Supreme Court, gets their power from God. So the same power that we supposedly, uh, you know, uh, in the Constitution getting our power from. Every man being free in the eyes of God and his creator, and this and that, which when I went in and they tried to get me to testify uh, in the name of God and the Bible and all that, I told them, you'll see when you watch the video, I don't believe in what y'all believe in, so I'm not going to testify under this name of what y'all calling God, which is many different things. You have to do the research on that yourself too, but their God is basically money, gold, oil, diamonds is an acronym. Um, there's a lot to that. You have to do the research yourself. I don't have enough energy or space here to explain that. But in general, we see what's going on with the monetary system. The monetary system creates scarcity. The fact that money even exists, it creates a certain scarcity to where, mentally at least, to where there's a dependency on money as far as basic needs, eating, clothing, shelter, and everything, um, because it's such put together in a way to where you have to pay with those things, um, and on a natural end, it scarcity is created because there's all these so-called law restrictions on growing your own things. For instance, and just with land taxes and all types of different flammery at every angle. You know what I'm saying? Laws with land taxes, laws with uh, uh, extorting you into uh, uh, paying this if you want any type of energy, and or not collecting this or not collect, you can't collect that, or it's against the law. All of these codes and statutes that were invented along with the invention of this current currency system, um, and it all goes against the natural world. It all goes against natural law, common law, natural law, or well, common law is just that you don't hurt your fellow being. The law of empathy. I call it sympathy or empathy. Natural law, what I mean, is to survive uh, amongst the elements. Um, but the currency, the fiat, what they call it, introduces a whole new scarcity system, and not only the currency element of it, but the natural resource element of it, to where those who control the money go and take natural resources from countries and leave those countries therefore depleted, and yet those who are under those countries' monetary systems still look the other way, half in part due to the fact that they feel like, oh, well, I gotta get
In
bills.
1,000 feet, turn left onto West Kemper Road.
I gotta get bills paid. I gotta go to work, So they're distracted by the work, which is back again tied to the monetary system because of the bills, which is another stack on top of
Turn left onto West Kemper Road.
The flammery, the bills created. People believing that they have to have a wooden box to dwell in, which 9 times out of 10,
In a
folks,
half mile, turn right onto Old Gate Drive.
9 times out
In
of
1,000 feet, turn right onto Roseland.
my bad, y'all. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, the home or house isn't being used to its fullest extent anyway. Make sure I'm going the right way. Yeah, so we led to believe there. Another part of the construct is the whole homeless thing. We're led to believe that being homeless is a crime, a social crime in and of itself. While all of these distractions, or what I'm building up to with all of these distractions, is that okay, boom. So we are led to believe that first off, we're born into a system that we had no choice about. We had no choice about our name, whether we wanted to be a part of this system or what. Um, Coincidentally, now that we're assigned into that system, things come to us in an all capital name for some reason. When we were taught in school that our name is that we are a name first off, and that uh, that name is to be associated, is to be spelled out with an all capital first, and then the rest lowercase. But some reason we're accepting these all capital names because mainly lack of even acknowledgement of it or even mindfulness of it. Um, One, and then like I said, that leads to this whole uh, that lack of mindfulness also um, leads to this agreement, this nonverbal agreement with our actions to the system that currently exists, in which we just pay bills, work, and don't ask any questions, eat, shit, sleep, get up and work to pay bills again. And any free time that we do have, we, for the most part, fill with distractionary, so-called quote-unquote entertainment, which to entertain the mint meaning mind. Um, all of that, I said all that to say, all of that distracts us from the fact that there are, back to those lands that get depleted of their natural resources, there are, it's people starving over here to death too, but there are um, the numbers of folks starving, and particularly kids in these lands, is astronomical. Um, but yet there's an excuse to why we can ignore that a lot of sheep will give, and that is that, hey, well, I got to worry about my life. I'm cool. We cool over here. I got bills to pay, and what I'm saying, I can't do nothing about that. But you can do something about it in the same way that um, you continue to contribute to the the currency system, uh, you can drop out, and then, but the thing about that is it takes communication, it takes learning, it takes more skills to learn in order for us to drop out uh, effectively. Because if we are to drop out effectively, then we have to do it on a mass scale. We have to drop out effectively on a mass scale uh, in order for it to mean anything to this evil system. And nothing I'm saying is, by the way, too, nothing I'm saying is uh, not researchable. I seen an interview with Ice Cube the other day, and he was saying how folks have to look up, have to be folks have to look up things for themselves, and that's the point I'm at with this thing. If you want to see pictures of starving kids, you know, you can look on Pinterest under a lot of the atheists, labeled atheist pins, where it's talking about if a God existed, have a lot of the starving kids. There's even one that was famous that was a vulture waiting on one of the African kids to die. Um, this is the thing. If I have all of the guns and I control uh, a system, I control a country, which I control the money in that country, and I control the law in that country. And I go to other countries and rape and pillage their natural resources. Um, and I decide that I'm over you, and um, you don't give any fight to that and to any of the things that I'm doing, then that means that you're in agreement with the things that I'm doing. You know, if you continue to uh, submit to the will of my actions and movements. Let's think of it like a monopoly board. I have all the money. I'm the banker, and you know, I own all of the property. I don't got everybody's property. However, I don't got it. Uh, you don't have no money left. Uh, and you feel like you must continue to play because without this money, this monopoly money, you won't be able to survive. Um, you know, on a fear based level, regardless of what excuse you come up with for how uh, it's just the way it is. If you are, let me say this: if you believe a system is evil, all of us, if you believe something is evil, let's say we believe, quote unquote, the devil is head of this system, the earth, what's going on, but you expect, uh, but you say that you worship something that's different, that's not the same thing, that's a God, but you continuously talk about how um, you do God's will or whatever, but at the same time, every day you're participating in an evil system at every turn. Like I said, judges don't care about justice. You know, it's the court. Think about the word court in general. It's all about a game. You bring a tennis racket or a basketball to a court. Uh, the courts are set up to be bank banking system. It's not about justice. It's not about any of that. And I've been to prison 6 years. I've been to court plenty of times. So I think uh, I've done a lot of stuff, law studying within those 6 years. So I think I'm um, experienced enough to be an authority on the matter. Think about this. If you don't see how a court is a banking system instead of being set up for justice, think about this. When you go into a court, I think it's like 95% um, are cop out deals. Um, Now on the books, it says that you're supposed to do this amount of time. If you do this, you're supposed to do that amount of time. If you do that, but we all know, just living and learning, that you can pay your way out of a sentence or get a sentence reduced by, if you have a quote unquote good lawyer, or which, if you don't know the behind the scenes of the court game, it's just like a circus. You know what I'm saying? Things that are on surface level, the gown and the suits and all of that, are like a soap opera, like One Life to Live type shit. Um, like this morning, I kind of wish I would have got it on tape when I walked in. They're all hee and ha ha, and the judge, the prosecutor, everybody's, they're all like family. Um, and if you understand how that works, as long as the court system stays in existence, everybody wins for them. You know what I'm saying? Because people are constantly coming to court. Police constantly getting paid because the codes and statutes that was made to where they can get tickets, and they have to get a certain quota. It's not just like this shit. It's just like, hey, we're gonna protect the society. If anybody is doing this or doing that, we're gonna put a stop to it. We're gonna be on every single corner. If anybody's getting raped or anybody is getting robbed or anything, we're gonna put a stop to it. This is what we are here for. No, this is a thing to where they have quotas that they have to hit. You have to pull over 30 people or 40 people within this month. You know what I'm saying? Like these things are specifically set up for a reason. Also, while I'm on the car situation, the quota situation, consider this, right? Um, every car, right? I got a Toyota right now. It goes up to 140, right? Think about this. If the law really cared about the safety of humanity and society, why would they allow even for corporations to even make cars that go beyond the highest speed limit in any state? I doubt that any state goes over 80 miles an hour on their highways. So why wouldn't they just require that there be a limit on what cars can go? Hmm? Hmm? Exactly. There is no answer to that, but the fact that they purposely create duality. Um, Duality is purposely created. You know, let's make something go 140, but then let's make another law on this end to where we only allow them to go 60 in the name of public safety. So then we can slide in, because we know the chances of them going above the 60 are now high because the car can go 140. But we're going to pretend like we couldn't just put it into any uh, uh, the higher the percentage that could be that somebody would be going over, let's say 80. We know we could just make it to where 80, to where it would lessen the chance of deaths and destruction in the world. But let's just allow that and slide this in so we can have a even better chance at extortion, whilst at the same time having them think that they're free. You know, um, and now I was talking to a friend about that yesterday. That's the illusion of free will. Is that hey, you have two choices. You can either do this, you can either stay in line, or you can get out of line. But if you get out of line, there is a punishment attached to it. Then there's not. That's not free will. That's either do what I say, my will, or if you don't do what I say, then I'm gonna punish you. And that's how the whole, not only the court system, but the court system was mimicked after the religious system. If you don't know about that, look that up. The religious system is set up the same way. The whole good versus evil duality, where the character, I think it's a Luke verse, says, I am the Lord. I create good and evil. A lot of people skip over that and they try to blame the devil and fucking human free will and all this other thing, but this character in this Bible verse, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna look the Bible verse up. Let's see. We're looking up the verse. I'm about to give y'all the exact verse. Exact verse coming up. And I'm getting to a conclusion here, in case you're wondering. Just found another poem that I did too, on a project yet to be released. That I'm gonna name Rabbit Hole Exposed, I think. Talking about this court shit. Also, I said if my right is to be innocent until proven otherwise, then why the fuck do I have to sit in the cage until the court date unless I pay? This bondage, make you think for a second about the con in Congress. I'm not conscious. I'm ab-aware in a whirlwind playing it, where they don't care, apathetic. Beyond athletic, I've been stretched my mind around concepts. Python. So I'm no longer constricted by a lot of shit, but daily still at odds with archons. Explore my dark side often enough to know I pulled a rabbit out the hat that don't go back inside the hole. That was on 11/30/18 at 1:58 p.m. I did that. But I'm looking through my notes right now for the list of verses. Oh, okay. First we got Luke 17:21, Kingdom of God is within you. Luke 11:15. 11:52, you take away the king of knowledge. You take away the key of knowledge because you don't look within yourself. The Most High dwells in temples made of not hands. Acts 7:48. Okay. Luke 6:26-27. Why call me Lord and not do what I say? Oh, I thought that verse was in here. Anyway, all you gotta do is search for the verse where the Lord says, I created good and evil. Actually, I may just put it as part. I may put a starving kid on the left hand side of this thumbnail and that verse on the right hand side because I know where it's at on Pinterest. And it's saved in my phone and in my picture files too, just not on these notes. But along with that verse, I do have something right here that I did come across as a consideration. Not only does that thing say, I am the Lord, I created good and evil. Um, um, Another consideration to is that the God that you believe in makes lava, tsunamis, hurricanes, lightning strikes, hailstorms, tapeworms, child-eating vultures, child-eating humans, and tornadoes. So, not only did the God say that they created good and evil, the Lord, um, excuse me, the Lord, even though there are all types of lords throughout history, Lord Voldemort, Lord, fucking the, and I joke, but I want you to understand that the so-called royalty that everybody's still allowed to exist calls themselves lords also. There's still lords to exist at this present moment in 2019 that folks ignore due to ignorance. Um, but and that's how that connects to how all of this even is able to exist. They testify on the Bible when you go in there, and like I said, this comes back to the beginning of uh, where are they even getting their jurisdiction, their power from to even make a judgment about another human from, and they're getting it from they say the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will say that they're getting it from God. You know what I'm saying? But even in the book, it says, uh, something to the nature of only God can judge you. So then you have to look at, okay, well, what is God then? It's God the judge. It's God the prosecutor. Um, it's God the Supreme Court. It's God the royals. Or has God been throughout history anyone who has an agenda and wants to put themselves up over you in a position of authority? Has that been what God really has been this whole time? The word God, even down to the monetary. Like I said, in God we trust is on the money. But you can't. There's two things. You either can't believe in a God that's all good and continue to perpetuate an evil system where, like I said, kids starve. The Jewish Metzazah B'Pah tradition, kids, get their fucking foreskin cut off. The same that's popularly normal now. Fucking circumcision under the guise of sanitation and tradition. And then within that tradition, the Orthodox Jews, their rabbis suck the blood out the baby's dick. You have that existing under the same Judeo Western concept of God. And you have, like I said, all of these kids on the other side of the world that look like, you know, that especially don't look like those who are in the most part of power. And I ain't even gonna pinpoint it down to exactly to a color thing, even though it's saturated in that department. But you even have starving folks over here, on this side of the world, Western population in the U.S. And they have something even called the working poor, the working class homeless, like meaning that minimum wage is so low in their state that they can't afford. Uh, we can't afford, a lot of the necessities, the so-called necessities, uh, created, you know, um, by the society. So, um, like I said all that to say, um, the dollar is attached to energy extraction, meaning you trade this amount of hours for this. You trade this amount of hours. It's the hours desensitize you because really you trading this amount of your life, this amount of your moments for a piece of paper that does grow on trees. Uh, Paper does grow on trees. For all of you who grew old and kind of forgot that. So you trading your life source energy for these pieces of paper um, that that have no life in and of themselves and have no sympathy for you once you're gone and once you don't worn out your body for these mechanical corporations. Um, then it's over with, and then you're just another uh, tumbleweed, twirling in the dirt. Didn't speak up on anything, didn't have any effect on the world or anything with your actions or your voice. You just continue to allow these things to happen. Like I said, any system that allows for uh, these things to happen is definitely evil in its current state and existence. And like I said, a lot of folks like to use that away to ultimate evil uh, connoisseur, the master of evil, the prince of evil, of ironically the word darkness. Um, and y'all gonna have to do research on that too, far as the whole light and dark duality that's being played out here too, like how angels are supposedly light and demons are supposedly dark, coincidentally, different shades and all that. Um, but that's another element to it. But um, yeah, you got to look at it like, oh yeah, that's the devil. First of all, the word devil is only evil with a D in front of it, and it's lived backwards. But that's a conversation for another day. Uh, Basically, to live out of whack with the natural um, world, but let alone the backwards. The word devil is evil with a D in front of it. Think about it. And then in this verse, the character obviously says, I am the Lord. I created good and evil. So therefore, anything that happens, even if you do want to, even if you do want to subscribe to the idea that a devil was created. Now, let me say this: you can't think that both either this Lord that you think that you believe in has to be um, indifferent since they created good and evil, or all good meaning that they didn't create uh, that there's many different creators. Because there is a creator that's all good that wants the best for humanity, that uh, 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 doesn't want anyone to suffer, and that creator is both all powerful and stronger than the evil that it created, then there would be no question that upon creation of that, even though it's supposedly also all knowing and knew that, knows everything in the line of history that's going to happen. But I'll even sacrifice the the I'll even sacrifice for sake of helping out those who uh, don't analyze that deep. I'll even say, hey, all right, boom. Let's say he's just not all powerful or all seeing or all knowing. This creature didn't know that this evil was going to come out of one of his creations. Okay, boom. Maybe you wasn't all knowing. Okay, scratch that off the list. But what about all powerful? And what about all good? Because if you're all good, but this thing that came from you just showed, your evil side, for so to speak. Why didn't if you want an all good universe, you got to understand that a creator, a magnificent creator that just wants an all good universe to exist, um, would make that so. There will be no excuse like, oh well, I made this evil thing, and now, coincidentally, ironically, I'm gonna play a game with this evil thing. You know, and that's very sick and sadistic when you think about it. Hey, I'm gonna play a game with this evil thing that I didn't mean to create, but we're gonna make bets, and we're gonna say, hey, I bet you all of the, I bet you all of the creation that I I love and don't want to ever suffer. I bet you they fall for me. No, I bet you they go for me. No, I bet you they don't. I bet you they do. I bet you they don't. And then I'm going to throw in 4,000 other religions and uh, uh, to mix them up and scramble them the same way. Now let me get y'all to think about something about this Garden of Eden situation. Now keep into consideration this guy said that he's already created good and evil, and the same reason for natural disasters and everything when people die for no reason. Um, you got a character, right, that says these folks don't know anything. It's two supposedly two that don't know anything, which we're gonna get into the fact that in order for the world to be created out of two folks, there had to be incest later on, and the fact that there's incest still within uh, the so-called royal bloodlines, but that's a whole nother topic for you to make that connection with those dots too. But so you got one character that you never see, you just hear the voice of, and they restrict you. They give you a restriction. They tell you, hey, you can do everything, but uh, go over here to this tree, right? So that makes you, and they say this tree is called the tree of the knowledge, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? Or duality. Uh, but then you have another character come along who wants you to know good and evil, wants you to know like this, right? If you're the creator of, if I create two things, right, and I'm supremely good, right? Why would I not want them to know that I'm the good guy and that this guy supposedly coming along as evil, especially for some monkeys. These folks are, they want us to believe, are just cavemen monkeys. They had no knowledge of anything. They didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? They didn't eat from this tree, and all they knew was what the voice told them to do. And when you think about how slavish that is, just do what I say. You don't need to know anything about anything. Just do what I say, and that's all you need to know. But then you have a character that comes along that we're supposed to be told is bad, and that uh, in in the form of a talking snake, ironically too. Talk about anthropomorphism, and Disney and all that type of shit. Um, this character comes along and says, "Hey, look, I want you to know the difference between good and evil." Ironically, this character is the so-called bad guy, but wants you to know the difference between good and evil. And so obviously you'll be able to decipher which one is good and evil. Either the first voice that told you, um, just do what I say, or the one who wants you to know, that wants you to have knowledge. And I look at that connection too. So today I'm gonna take a look. I'm going off on a side note. I look at that connection today and wonder if that has anything to do with so many folks who blindly believe um, um, to be so against awareness and knowledge and actual mindfulness and using what's uncommon sense now. But so many folks are against knowledge, um, and I think it's because of the narrative that the Western narrative that we're talking about now. But yeah, this character comes along and say, "Look, I want you to know what good and evil is, um, or which one of us is good, basically, and which one is lying to you." And coincidentally, they ate this. You allowed a character that was supposedly uh, right up under you in terms of uh, knowing and power and persuasion, and who also took supposedly, ironically, and perfectly coincidentally, a third of your angels, and that was that convincing and powerful. You supposedly let that character slide into uh, a back door within your perfect paradise and convince some 8 people who didn't know anything about anything. Obviously, they didn't know anything because they had to eat from the tree in order to snap out of it and open their third eye and figure out, oh, this shit is not what we have been told. But then this guy wants to kick them out. Like, hey, get out now. Since you see me, you know what I'm saying? How they say everything will come to light. Since you see me for who I am now, you know what I'm saying? You've become like me yourself. Uh, 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 um, Basically, you've gained the ability to know that you can uh, control your own situations with intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Your own intelligence and considerations. You know what I'm saying? Um, Coincidentally, uh, uh, I link that to the idea of intelligent design. So when they talk about becoming God-like, I just link that to the idea of being that level of awareness, um, that level of uh, intelligence. The same, um, in the same way that we supposedly connected to all of the intelligent design constantly going around to us. We process the trees and plants and stuff into our body. Uh, it comes back out, helps the earth fertilize. Uh, this the whole cycle of life. Um, without being led or having to have somebody over us in the hierarchy sense, and a lot of these things a lot of folks won't get because a lot of folks they don't have the character or the qualities or the experience that meshes up for them to understand these things. Like For instance, I say the character because I'm an iconoclast. And I don't believe anybody should be able to order me a religion, a government, or anybody. So I have the ability to have the open mindedness when it comes to considering certain things. That some folks who believe that in the whole, like Kanye says, slavery is a choice. They believe that someone should be over them because it gives them less responsibility, less they have to learn about on a way to on a way to survive. Then they can just let it be like, hey, well, I'll just let XYZ corporation do that for me or XYZ government do that for me. So that's just something I don't want to have to worry about. I don't want to have to worry about. Uh, let's just say fixing my own food. I just want to be able to go to Wendy's, or I don't want to have to worry about, you know, uh, living in a tent or amongst the forces, or I mean the amongst the elements or whatever. I just want to, I'll just pay a landlord. I'll pay a landlord. You know, uh, I'll just pay, the people that raped and, pillaged and this land and stole it anyway. I'll just pay them, just to keep things, you know, just to keep things at you know, uh, just to keep things cool with them, 'cause I don't want to upset them, I don't want to upset them. They may punish me. Coincidentally, they may punish me. They may send me into hell. I mean, jail. You know what I'm saying? Coincidentally, those match up. Hell and jail. Just supremely coincidentally. But that all relates, like I said, back around to uh, the reason maybe why folks can't be mindful. All of these things. The reason why folks maybe can't be mindful of, the actuality of what's actually going on is because they haven't been able to pause and put that awareness on these elements of what's going on. You know, like I said, I don't necessarily not believe that in this entity that said that they created good and evil. I just know anytime something could say that, could own up to creating or could let certain things exist, like I said, babies getting fucked and ate and uh, starving and all types of sick, sadistic shit that you see all the time, and all types of shit that goes on. Period. Evil. Being in the street, I seen a lot. Period. But anytime something can let that go on under the guise of, hey, I'm just doing a bet with this guy for 30,000 years. You know what I'm saying? I want everything to be perfect. I could have just snapped my fingers after I figured out that it was gonna happen, but nah. I want to test you, and I want to play a game with this guy at the same time to see, anytime any character can come out and do that and say it created good and evil, that character is definitely not worthy of any type of worship. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, all you gotta do is look at the pictures of the starving kids, and that's another part of another element of this. A lot of folks, they choose to look away. They rather not see that. Oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see. Oh, I don't want to see. I just want to see things that I want to see. I want to see sports. I want to see horror movies. Ironically, I want to see horror movies. I want to see uh, killing shows, detective shows. I want to see cheaters and all that, but I don't want to see actual realities of those who are being killed intentionally. I don't want to actually uh, do the investigating a detective would do, looking into things and researching. I just want to watch the show. I want to watch other folks do that stuff. I don't want to be faced with my harsh reality because then I'll be faced with the constant contemplations about why are these things happening, and I'll start to uh, have a greater understanding myself instead of just leaning on the understanding of what I was told, brought up into, based off these letters that are put together into these symbols that are called letters that are put together into words that are being used to get me to think like, hey, this is what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Just sit back there and chill, everybody. Like it's cool. Just let these things happen, and this character that we calling the devil is gonna be gone in a minute. Everything gonna be peachy green. The same guy that says he created good and evil is going to somehow, for some reason, get rid of his evil element out of the blue. We just don't know when, but then everything gonna be all good again. Like, look, man, I just, you know, there's something called infantile minds, and I understand the whole elephant in the rope thing. But there's just some things like you're supposed to outgrow, and then that gets us into the whole esoteric uh, element of religious books also, and that esoteric means that you got eso and you got exoteric. Eso is basically saying that none of the stories are meant to be taken literally; that they're all uh, symbolic to um, the inner um, the inner biological things that are going on, as far as you and your relation to the world, on a Christ conscious, what's being called Christ conscious level. For instance, the 33 vertebrae of your spine are being related to, I think, like 33 stairs of Jacob's ladder, or 33 stairs to something. The pineal, the land of pineal, your pineal gland. Uh, you know, the Taurus. There's a Taurus in the back of your the bone is shaped like a Taurus with horns. Um, the oil that they're saying that climbs up your spine is the anointed, the Christ oil, uh, that anointing oil, and you know, uh, there's a verse where Jesus says, "Let when thy eye is single, thy body is full of light," which I interpret as the only thing it could be interpreted as. Once you know about the first eye or the third eye, because you can't be talking about poke out your eye when he said the eye is single, and that's where you get the concept of on the dollar bill the eye or the pyramid is the capstone is not connected to the pyramid. So, um, which when you think about it, there was a story in the narrative about Jesus being against the money changers or whatever. And you can make that you can make a quick connection there if you wanted to. That um, once you gain a certain level of awareness, you just you connect. You connect. Everything is just like what I'm saying. Your whole uh, mindfulness of what's going on, enters your body instead of whatever it is that inhabits a lot of folks, um, which is basically uh, ignorance, in my view. Light being compared to enlightenment. The word light, uh, the awareness or the knowledge of certain things, and the refusal to eat, um, as a metaphor, eat or partake of the knowledge of things or the awareness or the acknowledgement of what's going on around you, being the opposite, which is ignorance, refusal to accept the fact that these things are happening, and the only way to put an end to things are going to be just like how the Robin Hood movie was, which I didn't agree to how it ended, but The only way to end these things, there's a solution. The only solution is for folks to stand up against those who have taken us in turn as slaves. Um, you know, in an obvious slavery system where, like I said, you work 8 hours a day to sustain your life, 8 to 10 hours a day. Um, you know, you sleep 8 and then um, whatever else the fuck you're doing. You know, um, you know. Um, yeah, everybody, and then you got the level of those who agree to, oh, the system is fucked up, but what can you do about it? You know, that's that level to it. That's upper level, like, oh, the system is fucked up. Well, what can you do about it? You can do something. You can at least at the least amount speak up about it until everyone starts to speak up about it. And once everyone starts to speak up about it, everyone starts to acknowledge and be aware and mindful that there's something that needs to be changed. Then everybody will be like, hey, okay, we all speaking about this. We all acknowledge this. We all know. We all see the level that this shit gets to. As far as the kids, all right, boom. We just gonna mass dropout. Mass dropout or mass uprising. Those are the two solutions. Um, and until then, mark my word, no matter when this video is watched or played throughout history, until then, it's over with, you know, over with. What you don't like has to be defeated the same way that anyone has been defeated in history of anything. Hitler or whoever you didn't like, Um, even though I get the vibe of feeling that some folks are gonna be like, well, it's not even a chance because they got solar weapons and sonic weapons and uh, this and that. They can put it into us immediately. Blah 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 blah. But I mean, um, in that sense, I believe that a noble cause, um, for believing in and dying in is better than makes more sense than living for nothing just to be, in a stupid ass corrupt system that allows starving on a mass rate, that allows for you to be one paycheck. You to be one paycheck away from uh, being amongst the elements that you don't want to be in. One doctor's bill, what they say, away from being homeless and in debt. Uh, to me, I'm going on and on and on and on and on and on with the elaboration of trying to get this information through. But to me, it just makes sense when you look at it, what's going on, and why the ignore, why the ignorance, those who are ignoring what's going on are ignoring it, and at this point, hope for a quote unquote savior would probably be like uh, the standard, amongst many. But my thing is, on one side, I feel like that's the only way. On one side, I feel like, we got to everybody got to fucking snap out of it and realize we are all the savior, you know what I'm saying, together once we decide to return back. Um, but one end of me is like, yeah, these folks, man, it's way too late for these sheep, man. So, you know, even different, uh, elements and voices within me, as we see, at odds. So goes the nature of duality. The those who can gorge and stuff their stomachs and face and throats, and those who haven't ate, who knows when the last time. So with that being said, do the research, look up the Bible verse about. Um, Matter of fact, I'm about to try and look through my pictures real quick. If y'all be patient, I can look through the pictures and get the verse, exact verse. I think it's one of the ones with an L, either Luke or but it might be one of the ones with a J too. I'm about to just check. Hold on, I'm looking for it, y'all. It's coming. Oh my gosh. I wish you would have fucking told me that earlier. Fuck. I feel like the verse is getting coming up somewhere. It's coming. Thought it was at least. Shit. Fuck. Fuck is this verse at? There used to be a point where I could just look at just pens. Look at the pens. You don't know. You don't know by now. Waiting to tonight. Yeah. Alright, y'all. I don't know where the fuck this verse is. But there's a verse. You gotta look it up. It says, I am the Lord. I control. I create and control both good and evil. Don't you know? Way to go. Hi ho. I didn't find that one, but it's another one right here. Capable of creating the universe, but does not lift a finger to stop evil. Why would I trust him? Exactly. There's another one. Atheists have no morals, huh? The only thing stopping me from becoming a preacher and profiting from your gullibility is my morals. I liked that one. I relate to that a lot. God was angered that Satan successfully manipulated Eve. That's like being mad at a child for being fooled by a serial pedophile in an environment that you placed the child in, knowing full well a predator was lurking, like the Catholic Church. Religious, what the fuck? um, I don't know where that pen is. Oh, it might be right here. No, it's not right there. Let's try to see if they let us go on Pinterest while we on here. I doubt it though. Oh, they are allowing it. This is a dumbass verse from Albert Einstein. God did not create evil just as darkness is the absence of light. Evil is the absence of God. God, yeah, Einstein was on some fuckery with indoctrination with that verse because it obviously says it in the Bible. And then he's using the whole light and this darkness play on manipulations too. Also, unless they just fucking, unless somebody just said, attributed that to him. But I'm looking for the actual verse. It didn't pop up. Oh, that's Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. King James Version. Uh, Isaiah 45:7. So yeah, I'm gonna put that on here. The Lord created evil. So I mean, there it is. It's all in the verse. Uh, Rewind. I was gonna read it again for y'all, but rewind it. If you need to hear that again, or just go look it up. But it's there though. Anyway, I have things to do in my life, so I dedicated an hour and 16 minutes to y'all with this concept of trying to get y'all to tune into the fact that we don't need the threat of punishment or the fear of punishment or the uh, reward aspect of honey and gold and sweet trinkets to be a caring, loving being, empathetic being. As you can see here, 'cause I don't believe in any of the shit. I believe evil exists, but I believe evil is personified. You know, it's called anthropomorphism, where you personify, give personal characteristics to objects, animals, or things. I think evil is being personified as a misconcept of this devil, when obviously in Isaiah, it's saying that, you know, I create and do all these things and form all these things. So there's obviously whoever created this realm and reality of duality is obviously not who he's being passed off to be as just totally good, or it's being passed off to be as totally good. And it's obvious that whatever created that created this realm of reality of good and evil duality is obviously indifferent. Obviously, is just creative energy itself. Uh, for instance, there's a lot of child uh, child rape art that people consider art that is in galleries that I, in my particular thought process, think is horrible, but folks think that it's art, and it's by some of the top folks that exist within, you know, certain entertainment businesses and Hollywood and whatnot, and you know, but hey, I just think going with my heart intuitively, I think that's, you know, horrible evil. Uh, but hey, I guess my opinion doesn't outweigh a character uh, that supposedly be all good that could eliminate that type of shit, but doesn't, right? Uh, but anyway, well, in my opinion, uh, outweighs that character. I don't know about you, but I believe that we should live from the heart, our heart's eye. That there's obviously something, some kind of lining going on beyond the surface that allows for us to have empathy. That allows for me, in particular, to be an empath, and I think that is the seat of the original maybe purity that we were, as far as being, you know, all love or all this, all good. You know what I'm saying? Before this character, uh, this duality aspect somehow came into existence. Um, anyway, we got starving kids and kids. We got starving kids in the world with Kate Drillers and Jared Diamonds and this and that. Gold and oil markets uh, skyrocket. Fucking, we got kids getting kidnapped and raped by the millions yearly in a world with billions of cameras and such advanced humanoid societies and cultures, you know, CULT, you know, so hey, everything is just fine, I guess. Maybe I'm the one that's insane. Now, Einstein quote that I do agree with was when he supposedly said, "Hey, maybe I'm insane, or is it just the world around me?" He said, "Well, obviously, I'm insane, or is the world around me?" So I do believe that he said that one. So anyway, hope y'all gained something based off my experience and studies and knowledge and living. If not, um, you probably have no. There's probably no helping you anyway. Anyway, everyone else, take care and stay aware.